Aloha and welcome, everybody, to the halftime edition of the Sixers postgame. This is game 2 already, Pags. Monday night here, and the Sixers have a 1-point lead at halftime, 65-64.
Yeah, you felt really good coming into this game as they came out, Simmons taking it to the hole. But, man, the Nets they just cling to you. They just keep making all these threes.
They're scrappy, man.
Fucking frustrating.
It reminds me of our basketball team, Pags, when we were like 5 or 7 or whatever. We were called the Dirty Little Nats because all we did was annoy the piss out of the other team, and that's pretty much what the Nets do to you, dude. They just hang around, annoy you, and then they hit back-to-back threes, and all of a sudden that 8-point lead's down to 2.
Yeah, we had it up to 13 at one point. We were feeling good, and then all of a sudden threes keep raining from the Nets, and it's just like, fuck, man.
Do you think it's an effort thing on the defensive side of the floor? Because they gave up a 36 spot in the second quarter after 28, and it's just this pick-and-roll game. And early on, I know I was yelling at the TV, there were a lot of 50-50 balls that the Nets just seemed to come up with, and
yeah,
there was a little bit of me kind of like, dude, you guys, you got to, like, come on. It was some of the bench guys. I remember it was Scott and Ennis, I think I was concerned with on the one trip. A rebound bounced, and then it was bounced around. The guy was almost out of bounds, and I was just like, man, come on, guys. What are we doing here?
But here's the thing. I feel like it's only on the defensive side of the ball. When we get on the offensive side of the ball, I feel like they're all over the place trying to scrap, get extra rebounds. But on the defensive side of the ball, I just feel like these long rebounds keep ending up in the Nets' hands.
The long jump shot equals a long rebound, right?
Yep.
And 23 threes already attempted by the Nets today. They're 10 of 23 in the first half, and the Sixers are 2 of 8 again. It's just a different game, man. Like you mentioned, Ben Simmons came out with something to prove. He's been going to the rim. It's been effective, but live by the 3, die by the 3, and what's 10 of 23, 40%, something like that? If they continue that, man, you're not going anywhere. 43.5, here it says right on ESPN's. They're at 43.5, and we're at 25. That's the difference. That's why we got ourselves a ball game, even though, we've made plenty more field goals than they have.
I just keep thinking in my head that these threes aren't always going to drop, and it just hasn't happened yet.
I know, dude. So, again, we have another first half here with Tobias Harris, only 4 points, 0 of 2 from distance, 1 of 7 from the floor. Embiid's got 10 in 13 minutes. Like we mentioned, you're probably going to get about 25 out of him, so that's kind of right on par. Boban, dude, 14 and 7 of 10. He's been like their second-best player in the first half.
Well, they're running that zone and just leaving him up there, and he can shoot it. So
he just keeps draining that from the top of the key.
I don't know if you noticed this. They've been switching who's coming up to the top of the key from the zone, and they switched it up, put Butler in there, so it wasn't Boban all the time. You saw Simmons a couple times, then Simmons drove and got an easy bucket. So I'm interested to see how Brett Brown tries to get Tobias more looks. He's getting JJ open now. JJ's starting to drop some buckets, so I'll be interested to see what happens in the second half.
Yeah, and continue to kind of keep an eye out for the player rotation. There was some chatter after game 1 that, hey, if Embiid can't go his full amount of minutes, that's fine. But that doesn't mean you have to take other people out of the game, too. Just substitute Boban straight up for Embiid and keep your other 4 best players on the floor. And he did that for a spurt or 2 in the first half, and it seemed to be effective because 80% Joel Embiid is comparable to 100% Boban. Obviously
right.
A healthy Embiid is nowhere close, but he is nowhere close to healthy just based on what he looks like.
I think it's affecting him mostly on his defensive side of the ball. And I do like that he's not pulling up and settling for these 3-pointers. You see he's just been kind of driving and getting to the lane. So I hope to see more of that this half.
Yeah, well, this is the biggest half of Sixers basketball that we've seen in probably about 6 years here, Pag. So
Bro,
we need to strap in because we're coming in for a bumpy landing.
About to fill up my beer and get ready for the second half.
Get ready for the second half. That's it. So, hey, thanks for joining us out there, listeners. Pags, thanks for hopping on. We're going to get out of here, hopefully watch a victorious second half. And if not, I may have to wake my daughter up just from the volume of my voice.
Oh, loud noises.
All right, thanks, guys. Hey, we'll be back in a couple of hours.
See you in a little.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, Sixers. Here we go, baby Pags. We are back, and we got ourselves a W in game 2.
We're going to win it in 5.
Oh, that's it. It's over. We found it. We're good to go. We outscored them by a shit ton in the second half, but I don't know, man.
Might as well just get ready for the Warriors.
Yeah, that's right. Let's jump straight to the finals. But I got to give kudos to Brett Brown and this Sixers team. I mean, I left you guys saying that this is the most important half of basketball for the Sixers in a long time, and they responded with a 14-0 run and a 51-point third quarter to essentially pull away and put this game away, Pags. And it was a lot of Joel Embiid early on in the offense. I think they decided to kind of go inside and establish him again offensively. He had a couple of layups, 2-point jumpers, some free throws, and then Tobias Harris actually got into the mix for the first time in forever, dude. He had like a quick 8 points, I think it was, a couple of threes, and it was like, oh my God, signs of life from Mr. Harris.
This is what we need to make a run in this playoffs.
That's exactly
we
right.
Play like we did in the second half. I mean, they came out with a fire lit under their ass, and next thing I know, I swear I looked down. It was a 1-point lead. I look up, and they're up by 12.
You had Embiid score 11 and Harris 8. It was literally 19 straight out of the Sixers in the third quarter, and it was all within 6 minutes. And I'm going, man, we've scored 20-some points in some quarters. These guys already have 19. And it's crazy that you say that, man, because as I'm pulling up the box score here, I'm seeing Jimmy Butler had 7 points tonight, but was still a plus 27. So Jimmy definitely putting in work on the defensive end and following up his 36 with only 7. However, it was not as disappointing of a 7 as that may read for somebody who just gets up tomorrow and reads the newspaper.
Well, I think you see his 7 assists, and you're like, okay, he was distributing the ball, and that's probably where that plus whatever came from.
Creating a lot of opportunities for others.
Yeah, and Michael Scott Paper Company coming in with 3 threes there in the third quarter.
Dude, he could be a little bit of an X factor, too, because they don't have that shooter off the bench, and he's our Bellinelli right now.
Right.
So he's not I was going to say not the best option there. Unfortunately, Markelle Fultz sucks. So we're rolling Michael Scott out.
You look at this. I mean, Ben had a triple-double. He didn't even play the fourth quarter.
30 minutes, the highest total minute for a starter. Jimmy Butler and Ben Simmons, Harris with 29, Embiid with 21. It was definitely nice to be able to kind of go deeper into the rotation.
And they were just suffocating on defense, and they took away the three-point shooting for the Nets. Dinwiddie had 3 threes. Russell had 3 threes. I'm pretty sure most of those came in the first half.
Pags, honestly, as good as the second half was, I'm starting to think that this is an attitude and effort issue for the Sixers.
Completely agree.
Because first quarter tonight, they give up 28 points defensively. Obviously, you're coming out. You know you have to win the ball game. They relax a little bit, give up a 36 spot. Okay, third quarter, they come out on fire offensively, but also, exactly like you said, suffocating on defense, give up 23. Fourth quarter, okay, this one's in the books. We're kind of coasting, a lot of bench players. I understand that. But another 36 goes up. So very much it reads of, hey, when they care and actually have to try to play defense, they can play defense. And when they just coast because they don't play a full 48 minutes, the Nets score and get back into this thing.
Does any part of you worry about going into Brooklyn and not having that edge of we can't piss our fans off again? Because they haven't been a great road team all year.
I honestly debate. I think Brooklyn's a good step for them in the first round because Embiid is the villain. So I feel like he's going to play to the boos, play to the crowd. They're going to be all over him. Jimmy Butler's got a little bit of that badass in him where I think a road trip may not be the worst thing for them, man. Go into a hostile environment, swag it out a little bit, pull out a W, and if you get game 3 in Brooklyn, you're going into game 4 feeling good. And then, like you said, Pags, we got Sixers in 5. Moving on.
Yeah, I think this is starting to kind of air the similar result of what happened last year in Miami, except they won game 1. Game 2 let down, going into Miami with a 1-1 series, and the Sixers kind of fed off that the rough play that the the Heat gave them, and the Nets are kind of doing the same thing, trying to bully them out there. And I think the Sixers responded last year, and I think this second half you kind of get that hint of it's going to be a similar type of series.
I agree with you. You know, we joke and say in 5. I do see this one going probably 6, maybe 7. But honestly, like I said, dude, props goes out tonight. I challenged them. I said this is the most important half in Sixers basketball in the last 6 years, and they shoved it in my face with a 51-23 win convincingly in the third quarter. So, yeah, I was very excited that the Sixers came out and rose to the challenge and to make it a Philadelphia phrase to answer the bell and ring the bell there for that third quarter.
I love it, man. I'm excited for Thursday. Get a nice 2-day break, watch some Phils, and get ready for Game 3.
Get Embiid healthy, see what we can do out there, and
hopefully these 2 days the Nets cool down their freaking 3-point shooting a little bit.
Don't shoot 40% again, but we'll see. That's Sixers post-game, Game 2. The Sixers with the victory at home. They win convincingly 145. That's a playoff record for points. They win 145-123, and we'll see y'all Thursday. Talk to you Thursday night after Game 3 in Brooklyn.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, Sixers.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, Sixers. 10, 9, 8, 76ers. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, Sixers.